Okay, but anyways, hello YouTube. How you guys doing today? It's time for the YouTubes. Honestly, I don't even know how the hell am I supposed to share this and put this into a video form though. I actually don't at all, to be honest, because I did share this 2 days ago. Like, this is the setup that I used for day 1 and day 2. And so I was thinking like, hey, you know what? I think I should share day 3 and day 4 as well. You know? And I think I spent the last 4 hours, I think. I spent the last 4 or 5 hours testing shit out. Yeah, I think. I don't know, man, but I've been testing a lot of shit where it involves monk. So I tested out Berserker, I tested out Chaos Ruler, I tested out Nighthound, I tested out Esparas, I tested out Monkey, and wait, I think that's it, right? Yeah, I think that's it. No, I can go. Yes, I can go, of course. So those are the few ones that I tested. That took quite a while because, you know, full auto and shit. But most of them tends to always be in around between 4 minutes to 5 minutes. Like all of them. But out of all of them, I would definitely say there's a really surprising outcome. I have to give it to Chaos Ruler. Because for some reason, surprisingly, Chaos Ruler worked out relatively well to a certain degree. I wasn't expecting that. Because I think the fastest I remember doing in Chaos Ruler for Nightmare 150 is 4:17, I think. Yeah, I think it was 4:17. I wasn't expecting that at all. I was thinking it would be a lot slower or some shit because it's fucking Sierra and all that. But turns out it's actually not bad. But I think the slowest I saw Sierra was 4:40. I think it was 4:40. Yeah. I probably will not share every single one like right now, whatever, whichever that I have the clip of me testing that shit out. You probably can see that in a bit. But I'll share as much as I can. The few ones that I actually did tested without any background music. Because I did do a lot of testing with the background, like my own, not really my own, but like the dank music playing in the background. So there's that. But yeah, I tested quite a few, but the real surprising one was Seer. And I think the best result I got out of all those was Monk, because I think the constant nukes, because I'm very focused on skill damage shit, right? So I think Monk's passive, the one that you also get like the passive, which is the debuff resist shit, but I would say that one's really good if that you're at level 30, right? I think that only applies if you're at level 30, isn't it? Wait, let me double check. It should be only level 30, right? No, level 20. Yes, you get that at level 20. Yes, not level 30. Level 30 is the you get extra one stack on your S1, which is great by all means, but I wouldn't say it's too important. Yeah, I don't think it's really too important. But I think that usually, like, I think I remember mentioning this in the class video, where the really important one is to at least get the class to at least level 20, the mastery level, that is. If you get it to level 20, I think a lot of the classes you can kind of make do with it. You know, like Espara, CR, yeah, Monk, yada yada yada. Heck, yeah. You know, all the rest, even Nighthound as well, you can just use it at level 20. I think the only one that you probably might want to get it is to level 30 is Kango, because Kango is pretty damn strong at level 30, just because you get like a free nuke or a full meter at the beginning of the first turn or whatever shit. So that's really, really nice. But yeah, the thing is about Monk is the fact that the passive is really, really nice. The new one, which is It's in Japanese right now, but yeah, you get the extra debuff success rate and stuff. But like, the real good shit, I would definitely say out of the testing that I did for Monk is the fact that the consistent nukes you get out of it is just really, really good. And it accumulates a lot over time. And out of all the testing I have seen so far, well, this is only my test, right? Maybe other people may vary. Is the fact that the boss is like, if you do not debuff, okay, if you do not debuff the 50 trigger, you're probably gonna get your ass kicked really, really hard, unless, well, you have the shit that I'm using, right? If you do not have the shit that I'm using, it's probably gonna be pretty tough for you. Especially if you do not have Leech and Fidel. I can honestly tell you, like, this entire Gear War is just really 6 Leech and Fidel. If you use those 3, I'm pretty sure you're good. Especially if you have 6 at 150 as well, along with Leech and Fidel, okay? I'm just gonna put that out there. So this all the shit that I've tested, obviously it just involves all those 3 characters, okay? Because that's kind of like the way it is. The best way to actually do all this shit is just really those 3 fucking characters. Maybe, you know, you could do like some other shit, like having Summer Mang or whatever, like Amira and all that other characters, Anturia and shit, you know, those other characters. But sadly, I do not have them, okay? So most of the time, I'm only testing with these 3 characters, with Orchid, with Vicala, you know, all those few notable characters. I did not test Cassius because I don't like that guy. I was more like, it's just more like in that situation in comparison to, because it's either you use, if you're using Nighthound, right, you're gonna use Vicala or Jiki, whichever, or Cassius. But in that particular scenario, I prefer to use Vicala, because the way Vicala works is that you get an extra dodge and the extra meter gain and shit, which I think really works out a lot better in most runs from what I've seen so far. I guess it's just more like a preference kind of thing. Maybe some of you may prefer Cassius instead of Jiki, but I still prefer having Jiki because of that constant dispel shit, blah blah blah, and at the same time that dodge just helps out quite a bit. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, the grid is always the same, okay? The grid is mostly the same. All right. The only really the big difference that I change whenever I do the different classes is more like the main hand changes, and whether or not I use a class weapon or not. If I use a class weapon, I'm just gonna remove the Blood Gang. That's it. The rest is the same. Yeah, I'm just using all this, and I'm using Prosperity, which is the progression one. So that's what you're wondering. So summons are exactly the same. I didn't bother changing anything. They're all the same. Okay. So the few things that I used, so I'm just gonna put it out there where, so in case you guys are probably gonna ask anyway. So for Berserker, I tested it with PNS main hand. Chaos Ruler, I was using Parazonium. Nighthound, I was mostly just using Kirin Bow because I am using a Fidel Spear, so there's really no reason for me to use Agonize. Because a lot of times when all the tests that I did with Nighthound is I always swap anyway, so there's really no reason for me to use Agonize regardless, since I have Fidel Spear anyway. So yeah, so I only use Kirin Bow because there's really no other weapon that I should use really. And Monk is I use the Astral as you saw a moment ago. Kango, I use the class weapon. Yeah, so that's I think that's the few ones that I used. Yeah, because I didn't really test any other classes, unfortunately. But yeah, other than that, the EMP, if you want to see, is mostly the same. I don't think there's really much changes. I think this is much easier to show. I did, however, change all of them to get dark attack up though. The rest should be the same for the most part. But for Monk, I did give my Monk to have all the defense nodes and shit. The rest is just, yeah, the rest is just the, you know, the usual rank mastery stuff, the important ones, the HP, the damage cap, yada yada yada, skill cap, all that stuff. For sub-skill wise, Monk, I think this is probably the best ones I've noticed. Yeah, I think this is I think I'm just kind of going with this right now for Monk. For Berserker, I'm using the what? I think I'm using Armor Break 2. I'm using Twin Qual, and what was the other one? I think I was using some other nuke or some shit. I think it was Decimate or some shit. Because I didn't really want to use the Rage 4, or the other, what's the other special one? The special, what's that the thing? What's the thing called? Yeah, this was the one I was using. But like the other buff you get for yeah, this one. I didn't want to use this or Rage 4 just because that it eats up meter, when I think having meter is really, really important in the fight itself. That's why. For Chaos Ruler, I use the debuff thingy, the miserable mist version of Chaos Ruler, which is, I forgot what the fuck is that called. Oops. Which is the this thingy. Yeah, this thingy. Which you get the random debuffs thingy along with attack defend down shit. Unpredictable, yeah, that one. So I was using this one along with Dispel and Twin Quals, if I recall correctly. So I did put Dispel here first, and then Unpredictable and Twin Qual. So that's what I used for Chaos Ruler. For Aspara, I remember I tested out 2 different weapons, where I use PNS and I use Fidel Spear. From what I can see, for my, because Aspara, I haven't gotten it to level 30 yet, but from what I've seen so far, PNS main hand is definitely a lot better for me. But at the same time is that I would probably say that if you do have the meta setup, you know, like the two Fidel spears, the 2 Shalim axes, the 2 PNS thing, if you have that shit, you probably want to use the Shalim X as your main hand. Probably because that's more likely to be much more effective, I guess. But I do not have 2 Shalim X's, so I can't really use that. So I ended up just using PNS as my main hand. I also tried Fidel Spear as my main hand. I get better results with PNS as my main hand, so I just ended up thinking like, yeah, I think it's just better to just go with that. And for the skill wise, I think it doesn't really matter because the skills are pretty ass for the most part. So if you want, I guess you can just use this too. Swan Song and the Crestfallen Flower, I think that's what it's called in English. And then the other one is just Dispel. I don't think Dispel really matters, to be honest. Like, because I'll explain it in a little bit, okay? I'm just gonna show you, I'll let you guys know what the hell I used for all the sub skills and shit. And then for Nighthound is that I think a lot of people for some reason kept asking this in every single comment section that I have with the whole Nighthound switching thing. If you want to use, right, you make sure you use the one that has the two turn cooldown one, not the 20 turns one, because this one is automated, and this one automatically switches the first character in your back line, which is this one. So if you press full auto, it will always swap here, okay? Please stop asking me that now. Yeah. So I don't think that really the thing really matters, because the sub skill for this doesn't really matter. MC is gonna get swapped anyway. You don't really give a shit about MC. So if you're using Nighthound, a lot of times you probably see some people who use Leech you swap into Leech. Like you have Jiki in front, you have Fidel here as well. Jiki is here, and then 6 here, and then you have MC swapping into Leech. Because for the most part, you can get a lot of Ogies that way, just because that Leech is the one technically gaining most of the meter anyway. And then you have the extra boost of meter gain, all thanks to Jiki. And it just makes things a lot better in a way. But like a lot of times, it's not like you are forced to use that particular lineup, like as in the arrangement, I mean. you can actually just have like Jiki swapped in with MC. I did that as well. Seems to work just fine as well. But the clear time seems kind of like wonky a little bit. And then I also tried like having what's that? Fidel in the back or whatever shit. But a lot of times it's just better to have Fidel like slightly in front, like compared to the more important character like either Leech or Vicky, just because that she Ogis twice, so I guess that helps. Yeah, but that's really about it. There's really no it's a really no-brainer strat. Okay. Okay, so that's Nighthound. The other one that I used is Monkey. I think I already mentioned it earlier. But Kango is, I think I'm just gonna switch to the other one because I already have it saved anyway. So Kango, I use this one, but just remove her. Okay, just put Leech in front basically. This was basically just my manual one. The manual, I just put the Ray in there just to get the extra damage on Leech, and that's just really about it. Excuse me. So just have Leech in front. Doesn't really matter. The grid is exactly the same. See, it's exactly the same. I just use class weapon. The sub skills are the same as well. So most of the time I just use the Tri-Slash, the Twin Call, and Miss. Honestly, it doesn't fucking matter. I'll explain it in a bit. So end of the day, it's just really the Kango setup seems kind of okay as well, because you're just consistently able to Ogi, and then every time you Ogi, right, you just get the extra buffs you get from multiple what's that, multiple chains. Yeah, because you get the what's that, whenever you have multiple chains, as in the amount of Ogis done in a turn kind of thing, right, you get an extra buff, especially when you have your mastery level at 20, because that one is relatively important. But if you can get your Kango to 30, then yeah, it's probably much better. But the reason why the level 20 is really good is because you get the attack and defend up on two chain, I think. So it's pretty nice. You get extra defense up, meaning you get tank more. And we all know this boss hits really hard post 50% because of the constant echo and shit, which most of the time you're not going to dispel at all, unless you are using like Cassius, or I think some rare dudes are using like Zahek or some shit, because they can dispel multiple times or some shit. That, or if you're using Jiki and Jiki is able to consistently dispel every single turn kind of thing, then yeah, you can probably remove that. But honestly, it doesn't really matter, because you're probably going to bypass a lot of shit regardless, so it doesn't really freaking matter. Okay, so I'm gonna explain most of the main key points in all the shit I've tested, right? The key points when you're doing this full auto. From what I've learned, there's two very important things that you need to know. Whenever you do this boss, right? I'm just gonna enter one, okay? Wait, I should set back my monk. Let me set back my monk real quick, okay? I'm just gonna quickly show a little bit. Where the fuck is my monk? Okay. No, that's Cavalier. Nope, wrong skills. For some reason, it just doesn't save at all. I do not know why. So I'm gonna break blah blah blah. Okay. I forgot to set my fucking main hand. Okay, where's my Astral? Nope, that's Ultima. Okay, done. That's correct? Yes, that's correct. Same? Okay, go. Alright. Okay, so the one thing you have to keep in mind is that the two important things I said, okay? So this boss has a very annoying trigger where she gets the veil shit at 150, right? The stupid veil thing kind of cucks a lot of people, isn't it? So a lot of times what I've noticed is that you want to be in two different scenarios here. One is that you're able to get to 50% by your nukes, because you know, in this specific setup, you're nuking like crazy with this motherfucker here and this motherfucker here. Okay? which technically applies to your MC if you're using said monk, for example, okay? So you want to nuke into 50, because if you do nuke into 50, you're able to probably line up the buffs, or debuffs, I mean, on the likes of Leech, or maybe your MC, you know, say like if you're using like, yeah, armor break or whatever shit, right? So you're able to do that, because from what I've learned so far, I'm always seeing the debuffs always will come back up at turn number 6. That's what I always noticed. Whatever they're in, they always get that on number 6. So that's one thing. The second scenario you want to be in is either you're somehow able to stop all of your damage right at 51. Okay? And then when you take your turn or whatever shit, you're able to bypass that 50 trigger. So meaning you go straight into 30. Because the triggers is at 75, 50, 30, 25, right? Was it 25 or is it 20s? Whichever. But yeah. So you want, in that scenario, right, you bypass this shit. So you do not have to deal with the annoying veil crap. Okay? Because we're talking about full auto, okay? We're not doing manual shit. Manual shit, you want manual shit, just press this motherfucker. Done. Okay? Nobody gives a fuck about it in manual. You just press that guy, is done already, okay? If you don't have it, I'm sorry. My condolences. I feel bad for you, okay? But, okay. So that is the two main things you want to keep in mind. So, from what I've seen so far, based on all the testing that I've done on different multiple classes, right? I find Monk is probably the best one. Just because that the passive that I mentioned much earlier in the video, and the extra armor that you get because you're using the astral main hand thing, because you get to cast armor and counter at the same time to, well, your entire team, right? So that's kind of nice, and that essentially allows you to take more damage, and at the same time you're also nuking so much more with your MC and shit. So it really helps a whole bunch. And the reason I would definitely say that if you're using Monk, it's better to use all four red border skills, because you want to get that stupid stack up and running a lot faster, just so that you can consistently get those nukes going. Because from all the testing that I did with Monk, because I did test it quite a bit with Monk, is that a lot of times when I did not get that shit, whatever, I'll just let it run, fuck it. When I didn't get that thing lined up properly, right? Like, say for example, like Leech's debuffs, for example. If I didn't line that up properly, right? It's just because that I did not manage to get like an extra nuke from MC, or I didn't manage to counter, you know, because my 6 is 150, right? I didn't manage to dodge on 6 so he can counter. So technically I'm missing like one big chunk of damage there, because as you can see, right, this setup allows 6 to consistently hit 4.6 million and above for some shit nukes all the time. There. Yeah. and then Fidel does like, her S2 nuke is like 4. That. Yeah, I don't remember, but I think Leech was like 8 million something. Yeah, something like that. Oh yeah, because the armor is there, so it's a bit lower. It's supposed to be like 8 million plus, but if the armor is there, she gets 5 million plus. But yeah, usually this part is fine. This part is all okay. It's pretty straightforward. The damage card is there. Don't give a fuck. Just go through. Doesn't matter. Just eat that shit. Even though the damage card is pretty potent, you don't give a fuck. Just go through. Be a fucking Giga Chat and push that thing through. Man, that was tiring. But yes, I think I'll just let this play for you guys, okay? And then I'll put the rest. This is gonna be a long ass video, okay? So like a lot of times, like if it actually turns out to be good, you can actually line up the debuffs really nicely. So like right now, if I attack, it should be very close to 50, But the nukes from like, I don't know, your Leech, your 6 and MC will push it into 50. Yeah, like that. Then I can debuff, right? See? Lined up perfectly. That's what you want. This is one scenario you want to be in. Because then later on, right, when he gets the veil, you don't care about the veil anymore because it's debuff. The most important thing is that if you can actually land that debuff on Leech, I think you're pretty much set already. But for some reason, Fidel always dies though. For some reason, I do not know why. This seems to be like an ongoing thing. I've tested so many different of the classes shit, right? Fidel either stays at red HP or Fidel dies. That sometimes MC dies, but from what I've seen so far, if I'm using Monk, MC doesn't die as often. So, that's great. But yeah, you just do a lot of damage. But yeah, so I think chat was asking about the whole no dispel thing. This is why technically dispel isn't exactly needed, because you're essentially just ignoring the very fact that you don't need dispel. See, I even bypassed that 30%. So who gives a shit? You're not going to see that thing. Fuck it. 6 got fucking shadowed, don't care. Just go. I can't really show the time because this one is, well, I'm technically explaining shit and stuff, so it's dead already anyway. So yeah, full auto. That's the setup that I went with, or more like, I guess the one that I would say is I'm most comfortable with compared to the rest. I know everyone is a lot of people is preferring the whole Nighthound shit because that's like a very, very common strat where you get rid of MC altogether, blah blah blah, all that shit. I tried that, it kind of worked out. Sometimes it doesn't work out, so I didn't really like that too much. So it's so I just say fuck it to that really. Then heck, I would even do it. I find it so hard to believe, but at the same time, I just kind of like CR surprisingly at how well he actually turned out to be. Like it was supposed to be a fucking meme, but I didn't expect that to be working out a lot better than I anticipated. But yeah, I don't think a lot of people really give a shit about that because CR is fucking slow anyway. So given a choice, you're probably gonna go with the whole. I think a lot of people probably either just run Kango or Nighthound anyway, because that's like the most common thing. Yeah, I think that seems like to be a really, really common setup, isn't it? Everyone just goes for Nighthound and Kango and Relic Buster. I don't really bother with Relic Buster this time around, because why do you need Relic Busters armored when you have this too? In a way, because I feel like the armored from Relic Buster feels kind of like a waste. I prefer Monk because you get the extra nukes out of that compared to Relic Buster. Relic Buster, you basically just use it for the sake of the veil and the armored shit, and maybe just limit bursts, and maybe the extra amplifier you get on the S1 and shit. But that's really about it. I don't really care about that too much. I like the constant nukes out of Monk a whole lot more. Yeah, so I guess that's mostly my preference. For manual, usually, yeah, manual, I always use this, and I just manual that shit. My clear time was like what, 230, 220. I think the fastest was 215, but yeah, I don't think that really matters. It's still kind of slow, but I'm not really aiming to be like the fastest motherfucker on the planet, so who fucking cares? I didn't really want to change my setup too much anyway, so that, yeah. Yeah, so I think that's really about it. I did explain a little bit way too long, so yeah, this video is gonna be super long. I'm gonna try to fit in some of the other classes that I tested that does not have dank music in the background. I'll put that in after this. Yeah, after this segment. So yeah, good luck with your Guild War and day 3 and day 4 because yeah, I hope you are ready because I'm technically done already. I'm not gonna do a lot tomorrow because I am essentially having my booster jab tomorrow. I might KO the fuck out tomorrow. That's why. So I pre-farmed everything what I'm supposed to do tomorrow on today as well. So yeah, all right. Good luck on your Guild War. Hopefully you get good results. And hopefully get good ranks as well at the same time. Or nice free wins and shit. Good luck, boys. Yeah. I should really enable that thing. So I don't have to keep clicking that corner. Yeah, because that would probably hit like 8 mil or something. Or maybe even higher. The Aspara S1, it should hit like 8 mil or higher. Wow, what the fuck? Wow, 6 S3 OP. Damn, because of that I'm so healthy. Uh-oh. Wait, should be fine, right? Yeah, I think so. Uh-oh. I missed one Ogi again. Lich missed one Ogi. Well, at least I have armor break though, right? I have one debuff there. Ow. I think 6 and Fidel is it. Yep. Man, everything always goes south if I didn't get the debuff down, man. Everything always goes south if I don't do that. Like, out of all the shit I did, that always seems to be the case. What the fuck? He was asking about furniture. I'm like, what furniture? Excuse me? Oh, I'm dead. Oh, still dead though. Wow, Charm. Maybe Charm is gonna save me. Boggers. Oh. That shield only will last one turn. Because Chaos Ruler can dispel the next turn. Wow, Charm! Wow! Well, that worked. You managed to line up properly. And I think MC can dispel the next turn, so it's not too bad too. Yep, dispel there. Yeah, almost. Ah, almost. Almost 1% off again. Bye, Fidel. Okay, that should be a kill already, right? Yeah, CCR isn't really that bad, is it? Yeah, CR is actually okay. Surprisingly. See? It's actually not bad, isn't it? As stupid as it is, right? It's actually not bad, you know?